Jason, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Jason's one of our level 2 coaches working on his level 3. He's going to give you a couple breakdowns today. Number 1, he's going to do a live ankle video. He has a lot of experience with himself, and he has his own ATG style gym. Lots of live insights to share. And then after, we're going to podcast it up and I'm going to interview him. All right, I'll catch you there.
My name's Jason. I have a spot in Chesapeake City, Maryland, and I'm here to talk to you guys today about ankles. I had a pretty traumatic ankle injury about 3 years ago, so I've dived pretty deep into the ankle basics program in the ATG app. So that's what we're going to do today. So we're going to get started. I'm going to start off by flossing my ankle. Now there's a lot of different ways you can floss your ankle. This is what I've found works best for me. Some people like to take the shoe off and actually floss kind of underneath the ankle, but I've found that for me, just being above that ankle has worked out best. So I'm just gonna wrap this thing semi-tight. And then once we get it wrapped, I just like to stay right where I'm at and kind of use my other leg and prop up my foot. And then from here, I'm going to go 5 circles in one direction, being nice and slow. Really trying to get every angle, every bit of that circle. And then once we get 5 there, we'll go 5 the other direction. That's 3, that's 4, that's 5. And then lastly, we'll go front back, kind of like a regular tib raise. So that'd be 1. Really trying to get all the way to the ends of those ranges. That'd be 4. And that would be 5. And so typically what I do is I try to exhaust that tibialis muscle, really dive deep into it. So I would, in reality, usually do about 3 sets, and then I would jump on the backward treadmill, which is what we're going to do right now, just to kind of get loose. And now I only floss my left ankle because I'm trying to get on a level playing field with my right, which has great, compared to my left, great flexibility, great strength. But my right is much better, that is. So from here, I just get on the backward treadmill, adjust the resistance, and then all I'm going to do is just take nice, easy, gentle steps, just trying to prioritize pushing through my toe. And as I step, just doing my best to make sure that that toe floats behind my knee. Now with the ankle ability program, it's not just an ankle program. The Monday, Wednesday, Friday portion is more or less a full lower half workout, because at least in my experience, I've noticed that on that left side where that ankle injury is, I've experienced my VMO in particular just isn't as strong, isn't as pronounced as my right. So I have to do more work above the ankle to get it balanced out with my right side. So I would typically go for about 5 minutes here or so, whether you have a watch or a timer or something like that, until I have a really good quad pump. The other option is, if you don't have a backward treadmill, you can hit the sled, or if you don't have a sled, you can honestly just, forward, backward, jog, run, whatever works best for you. So once 5 minutes up, that's when I'll head into a tib raise and a calf raise. And again, I'm gonna start over this direction. So I usually just, at my place, just sit on the Nordic bench. It's pretty convenient. Let me get loaded up here. And all I'm gonna do is, again, really work on those end ranges of motion. So I'm working the front of the ankle here. I'm gonna point my toes forward, do my best with straight legs, to pull back toward my face and pause gently. I'm gonna reach back out, pull and pause. And so I'm just doing my best on that eccentric portion on the way down, up and squeeze. So I'd hit 20 reps there for my tib raises. You can also do those up against the wall, which, something even as simple as this, as long as you have somewhere to kind of post your body up, you can just lift those toes and squeeze and really just get the same effect from a body weight perspective. So 20 tib raises, and then I'll find somewhere like a wall, which probably over here, and I'll hit some knee over toe calf raises to really get my ankle into a spot where it needs to be flexible. So maybe a foot or foot and a half away from the wall. I'll drive those those knees over those toes, and then try to get knees, hips, and shoulders in line. And then from here, I'm just trying to go straight up. So I'll go up on those toes, squeeze, and then easy back down. And as I drive back down, I'm trying to force that knee back over the toe. So I'm just working the other side here as opposed to the tib raises, which is the front side of that ankle. I'm working more that soleus muscle and the back side of that ankle. And again, I'll hit these for 20. Now I do tend to go single leg with these on my left side. Again, because this is the injured side and I'm always trying to shoot for balance. So I'll go near a barbell or something that I can kind of hold on to and do the exact same thing where I'll just push one knee over the toe, then kind of hold on, but not pull myself up just for balance, and then do the exact same thing. Forcing that knee back over the toe, trying to keep knee, hips, and shoulders in line. 20 reps on each leg just to stay in balance there. So we've got floss, treadmill, then we hit tib bar and calf raises. Now, the exercise in the Ankle Ability Basics program that was newest to me, I've also found difficult to teach. It's just kind of a visual thing for me to explain to people that I'm training. But nonetheless, it might be the one that I have found the biggest breakthroughs in, especially from my left ankle. And it's a calf rotation and a tib rotation. So this is going to look just like a body weight tib raise, but I'm going to start on the outsides of my foot, come up like a regular tib raise, and then turn inward. And then I'll pause and do the exact same thing. Really trying to touch all those ranges, all those little nooks and crannies, kind of just like we did with the floss band. But to me, this is just a little bit more under load than the floss band, which I've found super beneficial. So in conjunction with the floss band, this has been a big breakthrough for me. Just 10 reps out and back would be 1 and 10. Now the same thing for the knee over toe calf raise. We're going to do a calf rotation. So I'm going to set up the exact same way that I did for the knee over toe calf raise. Feet about shoulder width, maybe a foot, foot and a half away from the wall. It's really all up to you. This is going to be easier if you're closer. This will be harder if you're farther away. And then same concept. I'm going to push the knees over the toes, get into that knee, hip, shoulder line. And then I'm going to go up on my toes, kind of like out by my pinky toes, and then roll inward toward my big toe and pause. And then up and out and then pause. So that will be 1 rep. And that's our knee over toe calf rotation, which again, just those 2 exercises, 10 on each. That's my opinion that I've had the biggest ankle breakthroughs just with those 2 exercises right there. So after that's kind of almost like an extended warm-up, if you ask me, and then we'll head over to the mobility box. And so what we're going to do is we're going to do a Patrick step up. So we're going to be forced to work above our knee, right? We're kind of starting from ground up, and now we're going to work that VMO from a spot of, ankle flexibility. So we'll jump onto a mobility box over here. And so with a Poliquin step up, you normally have a wedge under your heel, but with a Patrick step up, all we're going to do is be flat-footed. And so we're about 4 inches off the ground here. I'm going to start on my bad side. I want to be nice and tall, again, foot flat. You can use these with assistance, which is where I started and honestly still where I am. And all I'm doing is trying to push my left knee over my toe and just tap the heel and then drive back up. And this is kind of really where I noticed that my left VMO was underdeveloped as opposed to my right because of that ankle injury, because I did my best to stay off of it for so long. So that would be 4 reps there. But we would go to, I typically do 20 on the Patrick step ups, and we'll switch legs. Go back to the right, force the knee over the toe. Just tap that heel if you can. Slow on the way down, and then right back up. So again, that is front side above the knee as we work our way up. And then we go into the back side. Behind the knee, we're gonna go to a Nordic bench. So in the basics program, that's what we use. The Nordic bench. If you're on ankle ability 0, you can use anything to prop your leg up, where you can do a kind of like a hamstring bridge. And if you're in a commercial gym, or if you have a hamstring curl machine, that would be the pro version. But nonetheless, in the basics version, we're going to start on the Nordic, which is super beneficial to strengthen behind the knee and really the belly of that hamstring. So I usually don't jump into like a super progressed Nordic, depending on how I feel that day. But all we're going to do is slowly lower forward and really engage those hamstrings with just a slight hip bend backwards. So we're going to go as slow as we can. Once you get to the bottom, you can just push yourself right back up. All we're doing is focusing on the eccentric portion of that Nordic hamstring curl. And we're just gonna do 5 reps. So our superset here is Patrick step up for 20 on each leg and Nordic hamstring curl for 5. And again, just 2 sets. So super slow on the way down. And just my opinion, I only like to progress when I can get to a spot and stop. And I don't continue to fall. So if I can get to a spot and stop, that's when I know, all right, I'm good, and I can lower down more. So Patrick step and Nordic, 2 sets. And then again, on the Monday, Wednesday, Friday of the ankle ability basics program, the last superset is split squats and stagger stance RDLs, which right now, just training in general, is my favorite superset. So we'll start on the mobility box again. If you have really good flexibility, you might be able to make it all the way down to the ground. But even on days where I feel good, I always start my first set, 6 inches or so off the ground. So bad leg first for me, right? I'm going to force that ankle to work as I drive that knee over the toe without any heel elevation. So that's going to make things a little bit more difficult and really force me to work that knee in a full range with that ankle all the way down and not supported by a wedge, not lifted by a wedge. So from here, I'm just driving that knee over the toe, trying to keep my back toes driven into the ground. And I like to pause 3 seconds or so and then drive right back up. So I control the way down. You can use assistance if you need it, and then drive right back up. So we'll do 12 on that leg, 12 on the other leg with the exact same concept. Super slow, really forcing that knee over the toe and trying to get hamstring to cover your calf at the bottom with good posture. Now, I don't think there's anything wrong with this, leaning forward a little bit, but especially for some added hip flexor benefits, I like to really force that back hip through and keep my shoulders tall. 12 on each leg. With all of this stuff on the not so good side, I tend to go back and just hit 1 extra set. So if I end up with 2 sets of each on whatever we're working on, I'm gonna hit a 3rd set for me on my left side. So there's our split squat. And then the last one is our stagger stance RDL, which has been a game changer for me for hamstring length. In addition to my left VMO being, in my opinion, underdeveloped, I've tweaked this right hamstring quite a bit, and my right outside of my hip, that piriformis, has been super tight. And I would imagine it's because for a long time, I was pretty heavy on that right side and unbalanced. So on this side, I'm hitting an extra set on my right leg to really get that right hamstring balanced out with my left. So what I like to do is, if this is a normal RDL here with shoulders, feet shoulder width, where we drive down and push our hips back and try to keep our chest up, all I'm gonna do is drop one of those legs. So for me, this was my bad hamstring. So I'm heel and toe kind of lined up, shoulders back. I'm trying to keep a very minimal knee bend in that left knee, very minimal. And as I drive forward, I'm trying to ensure that my shoulders stay out in front of my hands with a nice flat back. And in most of these exercises, I tell myself, as I go lower, go slower. Because I like to stay in the ranges, the end ranges, super long, as opposed to, a faster move. I just don't get as much out of it, me personally. So I'll hit 12 on this side and then switch legs and hit 12 over here. And my cues, some more cues that I typically use are slight arch in the lower back. And I'm trying to float this knee just behind this ankle as I drive. So just for a second, gonna imagine I'm holding those dumbbells with shoulders back. I'm trying to force hips, butt backwards, keep chest up, and slightly float this knee behind the toe. So I'll hit split squats, flat ground, extra set with my left ankle, left foot forward, and then stagger stance RDLs, extra set, right hamstring. 3 sets total, so you could easily go a 4 set on the split squats and a 4 set on the stagger stance RDLs. So that's the Monday, Wednesday, Friday version of the Ankle Ability Basics program. I always want to stay balanced, so I do hit some flexibility stuff during the week as well, and I also take some pieces from the shoulder ability program on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And just one more note, I mentioned my piriformis, my right side, being tighter from being like this for quite a while. So I definitely prioritize the 90-90 stretch on those Tuesday, Thursdays, sometimes Saturdays, which you can just get into here. You can use hands to balance on the outside, but you don't need to. I mean, if you feel strong enough, you really don't need them. But I definitely recommend using those hands to kind of guide you as you move forward. All you're going to do is pause, stay at the bottom for a second, and then if you can, drive back up without using the hands. It'll get more difficult as you turn your head toward your foot and as you straighten that back leg. So I kind of ran through a lot of this stuff, but really the beauty that I've found with ATG is that the slate of exercises for me when I'm training others and myself doesn't change too much. What does change is where you are, regression, progression. Not a good thing or bad thing, but just what it is. So my ankle's not perfect, but it has definitely gotten a lot better just from stretch strength, structural balance, and just trying to eliminate any weak links.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for watching.